Hey y'all, my name is Liv. Actually, my full name is Olivia Spitzer. I have an amazing family, I have an amazing husband. I do a ton of jobs on the side. I do sports photography, I coach multiple different sports. So growing up, I started gymnastics at age 4 and immediately fell in love with it. And so from age 9 to 18, I was just fully immersed in this world, which really left no time for anything else. Our family didn't really talk about God, didn't talk about faith. I remember my parents being like, hey, your job is to do well in school and to excel in your sport. I took it on as my identity, and I was super proud of it for a really long time because I wasn't really thinking ahead like, oh, someday this won't be a thing and I won't be a gymnast. I was really stuck in the present moment of like, this is exactly who I am, and I need to do things in order to affirm that and validate that identity, like win awards. But at practice, fell off the bar and I dislocated my arm, tore a ligament, like chipped a bone, and that injury crushed me. It felt like my entire world was crashing around me. Coming to terms with the fact that who you are or who you built yourself to be isn't actually who you should be, that's really hard because now you're like, okay, who am I and where do I find that purpose? After my injury, I still thought there was like this redemption I could have of like, this will be worth it if I keep going. And as the years progressed through college, I just started feeling like more and more empty. And the successes that I was achieving in college gymnastics didn't bring me any joy anymore, didn't bring me happiness. It just made me feel like there was a really big hole. I used to talk to God and say, if you exist, you'll show me Jesus in the flesh. That is when I will believe in you, and not until then. And I held on to that for a really long time. And then when I came to church, and I started filling my circle with people who were loving like Jesus. And once I opened my eyes a little bit and turned towards God, I realized that Jesus was right in front of me in the people that God was sending me. And so it wasn't like I prayed this prayer and now I am a follower of Jesus. It was more of like a gradual, like every single person that I met filled in more pieces and made me understand the character of who Jesus was more and more. So everyone was being just this image bearer of who Christ was. And it was helping me build this picture of Jesus in my brain of like, this is the person that died for me. And without the people who met me where I was at and showed me love first, I would not know who Jesus was. So I got baptized last Easter, so a year ago. Shortly after I was baptized, I think I went from this place of like knowing Jesus to actually living for Jesus. And at the same time, I was wrestling with the idea of how can I bring my faith, which is everything that I am, into coaching, because I grew up putting my entire identity in gymnastics. And I think that time in my life is serving now as a way for me to help guide athletes away from that path and towards God first. I was introduced to the idea of Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and the relationships that I've been able to cultivate with my athletes now, with Christ at the center, have been incredibly more fruitful and just impactful, so much more than they ever could have been without God. Every day I just am in disbelief of like, I get to be around and coach these people not only in their athletics, but through their faith, and we get to learn together, and I get to talk about it, and we get to learn about Jesus. And then we get to go out on the field or on the track and we get to glorify him through what we're doing and what we're saying. And that is like the most incredible thing. And I know that this is God's calling on my life to bring these two worlds together.